So we have two amazing startups this morning to present to you. My name's Ben. We've got Baron. Dustin is here as well. Tim is out with sick children. So let's all wish him well and be glad that we're not in his position at this point. He'll be back soon. And then we have some people to present to you today, but I'll leave that for later. Anyway, so without further ado, introduce David. He's got a company called 5 o'clock Stop. They're going to tell you when you should stop working and start perhaps making your way towards a happy hour and where that happy hour might be located. And so I'll let him explain more about it. Here's David.
Well, good morning. Just want to say it's my first time ever being here. I just want to thank you for listening to me talk, I guess. I saw an article that talked about 1 million cups, and I went to go check it out. And I was like, man, I'm going to go to that. And then there was a link that said, present your idea here. And I was like, well, I should always take an opportunity to talk about my business. So I filled it out, and here I am today. So my business is 5 o'clock Stop, and we're sort of like a Foursquare for happy hours. So we present all the happy hours in your area, and it counts down to those happy hours, and it lists them in chronological order, so you're getting information that you want right now. You can make decisions right now, or if you want to know what's happening later on in the week, you can scroll down the list. And then if happy hour is going on at that moment and you're there, you can check in with Foursquare or Facebook. And let's see here, I gotta click through myself.
Hit the space bar. There we go.
All right. So there's my contact information down at the bottom. Our tagline is welcome to the only countdown that matters. And
You can take the mic off.
so this is the landing page. And what we wanted to do is, since we wanted to grow really quick, anyone could get on here and add a city, add a bar, add a happy hour that they know about. And if it ends up becoming invalid over time, people could just rate it down. And once it gets rated down enough, it gets off the list. But there's still kind of a lag in correct information until we could get a bar owner to come in and claim their bar, then they get full publishing rights of their happy hours and they can keep it up to date themselves. That's sort of when we make our money. We charge them $7.99 a month to manage their happy hours, and then let's see. So that's what it looks like when you get into Tulsa. When you click in through Tulsa, you can see all these bars, and these are the ones that are going to happen first from this moment. And this actually counts down if you're on there. The website works right now if you wanted to look at it on your phone. And then, what's that? 5o'clockstop.com. The other thing we offer bar owners, if they claim their bar, is we provide them analytics on check-ins during their happy hours, and then we tell them, and then we compare that to the rest of the nation, and so they can see, are people checking in more for beers, are they checking in for food specials, or liquor specials, or wine, and then we can tell them when is everyone else having their happy hour compared to their happy hours, and then when are people checking into those happy hours, and then just help them make the decision on when to do their happy hours. And so that's kind of the whole idea, I guess, right there. The idea came to me, I had a friend up in Washington, D.C. He's a lobbyist and he travels a lot, and up there it's all about going to happy hours and networking. And so he called me up, he's like, man, I just hate going to a new city and not knowing where to go. And so he's like, do you think you can program a website that does that? Because he had just found out that I sort of taught myself how to program the websites because I couldn't find someone to do it, and we wanted to get some businesses off the ground. And I said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So we put that together. And this is the finished product. Yesterday we sold our first customer. It was Arnie's Bar, and it's kind of a funny story. I was walking around downtown in the morning because that's the best time to talk to bar owners. And when I got to him, his name is Chris, and the first thing he said to me was, I don't buy advertising. I never have, and we still continue to grow, so I never will. And I was like, okay, well, we're just starting off, and we're really just looking for feedback. So can we give you the service for free? You check it out, you use it for a month, and then tell us if there's anything that we need to change. And he was like, well, so how much is it normally? I said, it's $7.99 a month, $7.99 a month. He's like, $8 a month? He's like, I'll help you out. I'll just pay for it, that's fine. And so I don't think, you don't really hear on how to sell just to offer your product for free and you get a deal out of it. So I'm not sure if that's going to work every time, but I'm definitely going to try it again. We have an app in the works. There's a guy down in Dallas that we met at one of my friend's weddings, and he just wanted to be a part of a startup, so he's working on an app. And if you follow us on Facebook and Twitter, you'll hear about it when it comes out. And what else is going on? We're gonna also add events at bars like trivias and live music, and I think there's bingo. Apparently people love going to those things and they look for those things. And we'll probably be charging the people who host those things too. Other than that, I think this is pretty much going to be our product here now.
Okay, so now it's time where we're going to go into questions. So just get my attention, and I'll kind of keep the order. So we'll start back here in the back.
First, I think it's a great idea, a little bit of an anecdotal story. When I was working in DC, there was actually an Excel spreadsheet that had all the tabs for the different districts in town, and that's how you found out where the happy hours were. So this is much better than that. Also, I have a question about whether you can filter by location, not just the city, but districts within the city. Is that a possibility, or will it be coming?
So we don't. We were just going to leave it as a major city, but as we were working on the app, and you get the phone to actually talk to a satellite and everything, which is kind of cool when it actually works. We kind of celebrated on that because we talked to a satellite, but we're going to go off of what Google tells us their location is or what district they're in. If it just still says DC, then it's just going to be DC. Maybe in the future, maybe a year or two out, we could try to dive in more into that. But as of right now, there's no district. But also, thank you for saying that this is a lot better than the spreadsheet. It's very encouraging.
So $7.99 is the price point. Are there other options? So is that just the basic listing? And is there upgradable things that you can add to, I guess, promote your site? And then that's one question.
Okay. We wanted to make it as simple as possible, so we just went with $7.99. You get happy hour analytics, and you get to post and remove happy hours as much as you want. A bar owner could go in there and be like, I don't want anyone to know about my happy hours, and just remove them all, and then no one else can post about it if that's what they want to do. And the idea is, we don't want to offer discounts for buying a year or give them upgrades or anything, because we just want it to be simple. They click through, and as soon as they pay us, every month it's gonna bill them. And if on their bill, their credit card bill, it's $7.99, they're not gonna really look into it. 5 years from now, if they forget about us, then it's
Sure.
some other business guy told us to do it that way. Sounds like a good idea. It's less programming, so.
So that's the first part of the question. The second part of the question then comes, how do you sell that to however many people you need to have on a monthly basis that's going to generate any kind of profit? You got to have 1,000 people on there.
Yes.
And how do you sell that to 1,000 people without going door to door? Are you going to just wander the whole country, or?
I think so. We're hoping that we're hoping that if we could get, maybe 10 or 20 bars, like, just from Oklahoma, from Tulsa, where we're walking around trying to talk to them and get them on board, that we're kind of hoping that we could find an investor at that point, and then we're kind of going with, I don't know if you know about Yelp's like sort of marketing thing. They hire like one major person in the city, and that person goes out and gets a bunch of interns. And one of the guys on our team used to work for Yelp, and so that's what he really wants to do. So I think that's the route we're going to be taking on it. Also, the idea is if anyone could post a happy hour and then it's kind of wrong for a while, if they change it until it gets rated down, that person's going to go to the bar and be like, hey, I want this beer for $1, and they're like, oh, that ended 2 weeks ago. And we're like, well, it says it's here on 5 o'clock stock. You kind of have everyone selling for you almost too. So. I mean, that's the initial plan. We may have to change it eventually. So.
But I mean, so you got your first one yesterday. How many is the victory? Like, what's your target number that you want?
Ultimate victory, we want all of them. But our first goal right now is 10. If we can get 10, that's going to be a big deal for us. If we don't get to 10 within 2 months or whatever, we're probably going to call it quits. So.
Okay, got a question up here.
So I looked at your site and saw all the cities that are listed, which looks impressive. I was expecting just Tulsa, maybe, I don't know, Broken Arrow or something, but there's an extensive list. Could you talk about the usage that you have of the service so far, how you've gotten to that many cities, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, when we first started, we just focused on like 6, and you saw that on that first page I put up where it actually has like, you don't have to click a drop-down list. Those we know for sure that we've gone in ourselves and looked for happy hours and tried to populate it to give everyone their information. And the reason why is because we have friends in those cities that are going to go talk about it, and so we wanted a lot of content for that. The other cities, I guess, have just sort of been added since the site's been up, and people coming in and looking at it and being like, oh, is there any in Road, New York, or Greece, New York? I don't even know that city exists, but so a lot of that drop down they don't have any bars right now, and we're probably gonna spend some time and go and populate all of them that have been listed, because obviously there was some sort of interest in that. So as far as usage goes, whenever we tell people about it, we go to events or whatever, we'll have like a spike in like interest for about a week. And you'll have like 100 people hitting it a day, really. And that's just in Tulsa from where we went. And I think we went to Crybaby Hill and Senate Universe Festival, and we just passed out like koozies and stuff. But I think that people nowadays just want an app, and that's why we're going after it. We weren't going to do an app at first. So I think once the app comes out, there's going to be a lot more usage, and it's going to be more consistent. It looks great, like the huge list, but yeah. Oh, and then we're also testing the app, and so we open like the test app, and it finds the location, and then it adds it. And so if you're traveling and you're checking it out, because someone's like, hey, I updated it, and then you're in this new city, it adds it. So that could be why the list is kind of big too.
So I have a question. You talked about your team a little bit. Can you talk a little about more of who's on your team, what everybody does? So, is anyone full-time working on this, or is this kind of evenings, weekends things?
Sure. So the guy who came up with the idea, his name is James Christopherson. He's a lobbyist in DC, and so far his contribution has just been the idea. So we want him to kind of get after it in DC, because if he could sell it there, that'd be great. So we kind of just call him the idea man, which he hates because he wants to contribute more, but we just keep telling him that until he does something. Then there's me, so I coded it, and then I'm kind of the one marketing it too. And then my roommate, he's on board because he's like a really hardcore negotiator. Like if you're on the other side of him on a table, he's gonna make sure that you and your family are not eating. And then the guy who's building the app is also on the team, and he's down in Dallas, and he's getting ready to have a kid, and he just wanted to be on a startup. He's teaching himself how to code the app stuff too, so it's a lot of fun for him. And then the two other guys, the dude that used to work for Yelp, he's already made his first $1 million with another app that he like licensed off to somebody. And he's living with my brother right now, and like I visited him and just found out he was a millionaire and he's in the startups. It was crazy. So we were like, you want to be on it? And he said yeah, and so he's gonna kind of run our ground team, I guess. And then my brother he loves Photoshop. So most of the stuff on the website that's like images, like our logo or the background and stuff, it's all him. So we kind of just grab people we need whenever something comes up, and this is what we have. And I really think that we have a team that's going to win. Trying to convince them of that. So this week I made them all post a video about themselves to each other. And they only share it with each other, and they've been really funny. There's a lot of bathroom things, but I think they could win. I think they just need. It seems like a lot of them don't want to step out and embrace the idea and get after it and invest into it because they're afraid of failure, but then I think two, they don't know if the other team members are going to be in on it. So they just don't want to go out there on their own and be this guy that's out there by themselves, and the other team members are like, oh, it didn't work, but I didn't do anything, so it's cool. So trying to overcome that, and it's hard to when everyone is across the country instead of sitting across the table drinking coffee in the morning. So that's sort of a hurdle we're trying to overcome within the team. I think with that.
I have a question. I think this is a really good idea. I travel a lot, and I'm always wanting to find places, like in DC, I want to go somewhere where there's other people hanging out. I think the app is a good idea, but I think much more important than that, and something that I see missing here is a social media campaign. And I think if I could easily just go on Twitter and search the hashtag 5 o'clock stop or whatever, and I know you have a Twitter account, but something where, because it is a social activity, where people can connect, post pictures of where they're at, and maybe it's a 5 o'clock stop in DC or whatever the hashtag is, but something where people can look it up and then see where people are going and see pictures and people can post about it. I think that's where you can get a lot of hype generated and people more aware of what's going on and that you have all of that information. And it looks like the site looks really good and I like how clean it is. But there's no way to link to then post about it, like I'm going here or whatever. So I think do you have, that's more of a comment, but do you have any plans to generate kind of more of a social campaign?
So we'd love to be awesome at social media. We have a Facebook page, Twitter page. I think we're going to add a Google Plus page. But everything we tried on there, I think we just don't know what we're doing. I feel like, it's hard. We just put up our first blog, really, which is up there. You can see another hour, and it's called McNally's Week. You should read it because I wrote it and I really like it. But everything you're saying about that social media is something like the hashtag, like in the city and everything like that. That's a really good idea, and none of us came up with that. So I guess it's when you get down to the details of social media. We're still learning. That's the startup, I guess, is problem solving because we got a learning curve. Or if I could find someone that's like awesome at that wants to be on the team, that'd be great.
Okay, I got a question back here in the back.
Thank you. So you said your team is very distributed across the states. What sort of tools have you been using, or standards have you guys set in place for each other to make sure that the communication is always flowing and that you're continuing to move forward?
All of Google's apps are great, like Google Docs, Google Hangouts, and but a lot of it is really text messages and calling. And I've been carrying the weight recently, and but it's coming to a point where I can't do it all. Like I'm not gonna give 100% to everything, and so that's why I'm trying to attack the team or trying to get them involved in it, and I think we'll be using Google Docs a lot. It's just a powerful tool, email, and I mean, but I have pretty close relationships with everyone on the team, so it's really easy just to call them up and talk about it. And then when I do that, they're always excited. It's never, I haven't come to a point where they've been, like they give a big sigh and try to do something. So it's all right.
Okay, another question back here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you mentioned that your goal was it you said 10 bars in 2 months?
Yeah, I think so.
So I just had two little thoughts. One, I would think that one of your goals would be more of how many users you have. Even if bars didn't sign up, the users could be a bigger statement. And number two, have you thought about partnering? If you don't want to have all these complex things for the bars or pay extra or whatever, what about partnering with a brewery or a beer company that could definitely, finance and put their ad on there, which doesn't relate to a bar, but that financially would do a lot more than 10 bars at $8 each.
Yeah, that makes sense. And launching this app is kind of like we got to work on both sides on getting users using the website and then going after the businesses also. And it seems like, we get a lot of users on there at first, and let's say the information isn't really valid or there's not enough, then they're going to be turned off to it. They're probably never going to come back. And so, but then you also need to get the business owners who want to see that you're getting, 1 million hits a day. So we're trying to do them at the same time, I guess. And I guess we kind of went away from trying to get as many users looking at it because we feel like the app's going to do that for us. I'm hoping that it will, and if anyone has any insight into that, that'd be great for me to know too. So come talk to me later.
Okay, got another question up here.
I was thinking, what if you went directly to like distributors, and so they're connected with all bars. So there's a couple here that service all of Northeast Oklahoma, and starting with them, pitching your idea, get them on board, find a way to incentivize them. If there's some kind of split revenue, that might be an option to start growing that.
So like Budweiser, or like a distributor, like a beer distributor.
Like liquor.
Yeah, liquor. Okay. I haven't even thought of that. It's a good idea. Probably gonna get on that today.
So, to tie into both what they both said, instead of going ground up trying to reach all the vendors, like if you went to shameless plug Marshall's Brewing, there's at least 10 bars that he distributes to right here in the city. Just get on board with him and add it to their service and people he's already doing. I mean, then you've got 10 bars in a day. You just gotta go be friends with their Marshalls, which is awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody know that guy? Anybody want to introduce me?
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about Women in Cups is most likely somebody in here does.
Yeah.
So, so the last question that we always follow up, and this I think we're kind of going down this direction, is what can we as a community do to help you?
I think we do want a bigger social media presence. So if you guys would get on and like us on Facebook and on Twitter and tweet, and then just use the service. Like if you go out to eat, pull it up and see there's a happy hour for the place you're eating with your friends. And if it is happy hour, you can check in and then order what's on the happy hour maybe, or just bring the waitress over or whatever and ask them if this happy hour is on there, and if they say no, it's not right anymore, then tell them, well, what are you doing? And tell them about the service. I guess it would be super helpful for them to hear it from someone other than the guy who's trying to sell it. So I think that would help the most for us right now.
All right, well, let's thank David and 5 o'clock Stella.
Thank you.
I don't know if you looked at the 1 Million Cups website for today's meeting, but David's last name is Smith, and our second presenter's last name is also Smith. But they just met beforehand, so to the best of my knowledge, they're not brothers, but let's just think of them as the Smith brothers for fun anyway. There's more coffee in the back if you got to the coffee and realized it was empty. We have more, so avail yourself of that. have some announcements for you now, and if you want to have the links for these announcements, then just send us an email at tulsa@1millioncups.com. It is being regularly checked now, which for a while was seemingly not the case, but I will see it and I will add you to the list ASAP. I felt like there was another announcement that I was supposed to make that's not in here, but I don't remember what it is. The TEDx Tulsa happened a little over a month ago, and the videos are now on YouTube. Dave the Man Berlin here and Kendall Wilson, who's in the back, both have videos that are online, and they both crushed it. So go to YouTube and search for TEDx Tulsa so you can watch both of their presentations if you weren't there. Last week I talked about Global Entrepreneurship Week and said that stuff would be happening. Well, we know what that stuff is. We'll tell you a little bit more about everything next week, but you can get the full event lineup at gewtulsa.com. Of course, 1 Million Cups is part of that because we meet every Wednesday. So that's November 15th through the 20th. Part of that week is Startup Cup, which is November 18th, and it's just across the street at TCC. You do need to reserve your spot there, so go to tccstartupcup.com to do that. Once again, Dave the Man Berlin has Reps for Vets this Saturday. If you want to support the Tulsa Veterans Treatment Court and Dave's new venture, Discharge to In Charge, then you can work out with reps and local celebrities and so forth. Next week, we have a field trip. It's going to be very exciting. We talked about the workshop a few weeks ago. It's a new co-working space in the Pearl District. Tom Crow is going to come and tell us a little bit about that during the announcements for next week's meeting, and then afterward, we'll go over there and take a little tour. So plan on that after 1 Million Cups next week to go over and see what the space is like. Lastly, we are very excited to welcome 2 new organizers to the 1 Million Cups organizing team. They are Kirsten Anderson and Kristen Messerly. We're really excited. Kirsten has a marketing strategies company called Speakeasy Marketing. Yeah, let's go ahead and give them a hand. And Kristen is a former 1 Million Cups presenter with Cultural Outreach Solutions. They'll be joining our team, so don't be surprised if they take the microphone and start talking to you because they're official. Okay. Next, we have another startup hoping to connect the community with local businesses. It's called Truly Tulsa, and you probably got a card on your chair. If you are not in a chair, there are chairs available with cards, so that's an incentive for you to sit down. Chris Smith is going to come and tell us about Truly Tulsa, so let's please welcome him.
Hello, everybody. Well, my name is Chris Smith. I'm the founder of Truly Tulsa, and I'll let my partner here introduce himself.
I'm Jesse Dowd, and I'm creative director at Truly Tulsa, and just want to say thanks for having us. We're really honored that you guys would sit there and listen to what we have to talk. Cool.
All right, so I just want to take a minute to talk about sort of the genesis of Truly Tulsa. So several years ago, I was working as a therapist and social worker and discovered I had an interest in local marketing. So I started looking around town to see if there was anything I could do to contribute. And I noticed that there was a need in the Tulsa community for creative yet proven strategies to help connect a large audience of Tulsans with locally owned businesses. So I researched a lot of models around the country, and I learned as much as I could from models that were working well, and I tried to learn from models that didn't seem to have much staying power as well. And what we came up with was Truly Tulsa. We just launched last month, and our goal is to create a massive audience of Tulsans who are motivated for a couple of reasons to go check out locally owned businesses here in town. So the last thing we wanted to do was really just be another local movement. I know it's a really hot area to get into right now, and it's really worthwhile. But there are a lot of folks that just kind of slap a local sticker on their store and think that that's going to make a huge difference. we're all about providing real effective strategies to businesses to create that large audience and get people in the door. So, as was mentioned earlier, you have a card on your seat. So go ahead and take that out and check it out. And if you need cards afterward, by the way, we brought plenty more. So just come see me. But I'm going to hand things over to Jesse Dowd right now so he can tell us a little bit more about how Truly Tulsa works and a couple of things that might make us unique.
Okay, so what Truly Tulsa is. Truly Tulsa is an innovative marketing endeavor, venture, if you will, to really, like Chris just said earlier, create something that is kind of new, it's been done, but it's improved on, and really drive traffic to the local Tulsa businesses here in town. It's done by this savings card. What we try to do is connect with them on their level. The card itself is got plenty of differences, which we'll cover in a minute from other savings cards. But the main thing is that we want to work with the actual business itself. Say you know your margins. We can't presume to know your business, so we want to work with you to find a creative discount that the card can be used with. And again, they can change that at any time. So, so the Truly Tulsa Savings Card is, again, it's a really grassroots in some ways for Tulsa. The space bar? Oh, my bad. Mine was different. Okay, so kind of what makes it stand out, what makes it a little different, is that for one, the card doesn't expire. The motivation behind that is that for Chris and I, Truly Tulsa is a little bit more than just like a savings card. It's kind of more of a culture. We want to foster an overarching, feeling here in Tulsa to want to support the local businesses that make Tulsa as cool as it is. Why would we create a community and then have to start over every 12 months or every 18 months or whatever that typical expiration date would be? So one of the key differences we want to do is make it so that it doesn't expire. The other thing is that it's only local, again, local Tulsa metro area. That those are the ones that are eligible, those are the ones we're seeking out, and also factoring in that we kind of not going to take anybody who wants to be a part of it. We want people to go to the Truly Tulsa website, which is what this works with. At the moment, you can go there, discover your deals. That's kind of how we're going with that. We want people to trust that when they go to the Truly Tulsa website, they're getting people that are just Truly Tulsa and quality businesses. The last thing I'll say about what makes us a little bit different is that it's really important for us to foster that relationship with the business, the member businesses, their owners, so that we can work with them to, again, as we talked about earlier, get them the resources they need to compete, things that they may not be able to get affordably elsewhere. And again, really just give people a massive incentive to support.
Awesome, so we'll open it up for questions now. If anybody's got questions, your hand will come by.
So what exactly are the guidelines for somebody to be Truly Tulsa? Business owned here, only a Tulsa location inside the city limits? What exactly?
The guidelines would be that it's a locally owned business here in the Tulsa metropolitan area. And we just want to make sure that it's a business that's structured to keep a large percentage of its profits here in the city. to put back into our local economy. So, it's just locally owned places here in town who have a good reputation, I would add, are folks that we're interested in working with.
So your competition is keep it local, at least to my knowledge. And they, of course, start out of Oklahoma City, and they do, as you alluded to, require you to buy the card every year or so. The advantage they have, though, is that they have a financial backing from that income to do more marketing and grow organically and be able to put money into it. And they have a big advantage on you in Tulsa already. So my question for you is, how much do these cards cost, and what is your revenue stream to keep you operating so you can expand this?
Do you mean how much the Truly Tulsa savings cards cost?
Yeah, well, where are you getting your revenue stream from?
Well, we're committed to never charging for our cards. And that goes back to our mission of creating a massive audience of Tulsans that are going to have these cards in their wallets, going to our website, checking out their deals. So just a bit more on that. Our projections were that we could maybe sell 2,000 or 3,000 cards at most the first year if we made them, $5 or $10 a card. But by making the card free, we have an organic distribution model. If a business signs up with us, they get 200 cards that they're going to hand out to their customers. They're going to hand out to friends and family as well. So that's our main distribution model, also handing them out for free at different events around town over the next year. But we're going to get over 20,000 cards out into the public over the next year to create a huge audience for our member businesses.
But they're not free to you. You have to pay for these cards. Where are you getting the money to pay for them?
That comes from business subscriptions. So if a business wants to join Truly Tulsa, there's a yearly subscription fee of $800. Right now, we are, since we're so young and growing, trying to get the name out in the community, we're offering that year's subscription for $400. But that's what's sustaining the business. It's just Jesse and I, and we don't have to make a ton of money right now. We just kind of want to get out into the public and prove that we're doing something that's gonna give results.
So, love the idea of free. Hypothetically, I'm a user. I left my card at home. I think the best model is a grocery store or Walgreens. I never have my card for it, but it's always under a phone number. So making it free is great, but the information for all the users is the most valuable source that you guys have. Is there a way to connect me to that, or do I have to have the physical card? Is there a way for me to connect to the places that are set up and just use my phone number or something in that nature to still get the discount, or is it literally just limited to the card that I have now lost?
Well, that's something that I addressed with some of our business owners that we have on board so far. And the consensus among folks is, if someone says that they forgot their card, well, just mention Truly Tulsa, and every business owner that we're working with so far is really happy to honor that discount, because the impetus for folks visiting that store was the fact that they knew they would get a deal there. So we certainly don't want people to forget their cards all the time, but if they do, every business owner I've worked with so far says that they still will honor the discount.
If that's the case, why even have a card? It sounds, I'm just really confused at what you're offering the businesses, if not just, what's the difference between you and any other marketing company? That's my basic question.
Well, I think that I think that we're moving away, honestly, as a culture, from card-carrying people. However, based on what I've seen across the country, people like something tangible that's of value, something that's kept in their wallets. And I think what separates us is the fact that we get to really connect people in an intimate way through our website with the businesses that join with Truly Tulsa. We get to connect the consumer with their story, the business's story, that is, their social media. We're trying to ultimately connect our member businesses with what we see as that emerging Tulsa-centric culture. Something that's textured and nuanced and harkens back, creates a sense of meaning for supporting businesses that keep more money here. It's not all about the discount, but the discount is certainly the thing that's going to get a lot of people to go in to these businesses and check them out, I believe. And I think that's a pretty proven model across the country, and something that hasn't been fully explored in Tulsa.
Another question back here.
Okay, so I'm a business that's signed up on your subscription, and I want to change my deal. Do I log in and change that myself, or do I have to contact you and then wait for that deal to change on the website? How reactive, or how fast can a deal be changed?
For our own safety, I suppose, we request 5 days notice. Like when you send it to us, we request up to 5 days to get it changed. The reality is I can change it pretty quick. There's multiple ways to do that. At this point, with the amount of businesses we have on board, it's not really an issue if you email us. We can email it. If you email it to me, I'll get it changed. I did foresee that being an issue once we start climbing. So what I have set up is that there's actually a link that the member businesses get, which is how we collect their story and all of their information. I send it to them. It feeds off of our website. They fill out the digital form and it comes into a spreadsheet for me. And that's kind of how we do website requests, update requests, things like that. And we just, again, ask for 5 days to get it up there.
Hi, I'm Cal Norris with SCORE. I was wondering how you're doing on your resource members so far, how many businesses you have signed up, and I might have a suggestion for you on getting additional ones. How far along are you, and how many do you have participating?
Well, like I said, we launched October 15th of last month, and so far we have 11 businesses signed up here in the Tulsa area. A lot of folks are making commitments to join after the new year. For certain businesses, it seems difficult to allocate any funding right before the holiday season, which is totally understandable. So I think things are going pretty well considering we just launched, but I would love to hear your suggestions to kind of get the name out a little bit more.
Just real quickly, we work with startup businesses and existing businesses to grow. We're right over here on 907 South Detroit. Feel free to come and talk to us. But with every one of our clients that's working a startup, we found a great resource that we suggest they use, and it's free. The local library has a program that they've purchased that would cost us $20,000 to use. It's called the Research Wizard. And Martha Gregory is the contact at the local downtown library here to use, but for all of us entrepreneurs that are using this, we use this for a target client list to get started. And I mean, this thing is so powerful that you can target in the region that you want to go with, the type of restaurants, and they have additional programs to this beyond Research Wisdom that can take demographics to married couples with children, pets in the area for veterinarian facility. I mean, it's unbelievable the strength. All you need is a library card to use this. So I would suggest all the entrepreneurs that are interested in developing their client list take advantage of this and talk to Martha Gregory down there for us at SCORE for getting started.
Thank you very much.
We've got a question over here.
Do you have mechanism in place now, or do you plan on putting mechanism in place? You'll be able to reach out to your business subscribers and the individuals who are carrying the car, so they can see special announcements on a recurring basis and an email blast or something of that nature to communicate with people.
Could you repeat the question in case we didn't hear it? Yeah, if I heard you correctly, you're asking how do people stay up to date with current announcements, both cardholders and business members, or member businesses?
Do you have mechanisms in place to communicate with them on a regular basis?
A couple, actually. Obviously, Facebook and our Instagram is probably the main one we're doing for like the cardholders. to be able to follow who's joining up, where they can go get deals, special deals as businesses change. Maybe they'll say for the next day we're doing this. So we'll blast it across our social media, as well as for member businesses. I mean, we actually just did our first one the other day. I use MailChimp for email blasts, and so I have two different lists, one that's just member businesses and one that's everybody. So we can just, cardholders can sign up on the website easily to get the newsletter as well.
Good question over here on the left.
For a lot of people who receive the cards for the first time, like many of us here, chances are good they're going to pull up the website on their phone and look over who the companies are. And I noticed for myself, most of them I'm not familiar with. And so then the next step for me would be, I'm going to check Google Maps, look them up, see where they're at, see if it's feasible for me to drop by there sometime on my normal commute. Have you thought about reducing friction for your online users by inserting a map on the home page where all pinpointing all those locations, or any other ways of reducing friction?
It's a good idea. Well, on the one thing that we wanted to do with our website that would be completely different than what we'd seen is that it's not just text. Like, oh, there's a business name, business name, business name, business name, with like their address and just text on it. Ours, each business gets actually kind of a profile page that we've tried to make easy to navigate, aesthetically pleasing, and great to view on the web as well. And each place does have a map on there for each business, so long as they actually have a physical location. I don't think they have any that don't. Yeah, or just basic e-commerce or anything like that. So yeah, the map's on there. Now, if I understand correctly, you're asking about a map that has all of the pins?
Yeah.
Cool. No, that's a great idea though. Where would you, as a user, find that to be most helpful?
Probably on the homepage somewhere, either at the top or partway down.
Around the homepage? Cool. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
So my question is, I am a truly Tulsa business, and I love the concept, obviously. I think that it's nice to be listed, on the website with it gets you more exposure and all of that. Can you talk more about what types of businesses you have on board right now, and if you're targeting any specific type of business?
We are open to any business that just meets those few criteria of being locally owned, respected in the community, and in the Tulsa metro. So any from accountants to plumbers, restaurants. It's once we really get more businesses on board, it's going to function as sort of an online directory. Another thing I should mention is we're only taking on 200 unique businesses to sort of offer our members a bit of exclusivity in their demographic. But so far, some of the businesses that we have on board, Justin Thompson's restaurant group, so Prime, Juniper, Tableau, Cafe, Kitchen 624, catering. We have gift store, Summer Snow Gifts. We have a really cool kitchen and bath remodel place called Pierpont's. Dance studio is on board, Infinity Dance. Yeah. And we have a counseling center on board. So yeah, we don't want to just be like a local savings card with 99% restaurants or 99% gift shops. We want to diversify and really be sort of a directory of respected locally owned businesses here in town.
Just as a caveat to that, I think it would be really cool, and for a long time in my head I've kind of saw it this way, is that once it's developed, Truly Tulsa has developed that kind of rapport of quality businesses, and under the Discover Your Deals page you can go by category. If you're looking for a plumber, I kind of like to see people start thinking, I'm going to go there first. Just click on plumbers, or plumbing, or air conditioning services, and see who's on there and what they get, what deals they get with their car.
I have a question over here. Well, first I have, I guess, a little comment. I was looking at your guys' mobile website, and you were saying, search for different categories. That's a functionality I didn't find on your mobile site. Was when I look at your businesses, it's just all of the icons. And so, like he was saying earlier, if I'm on my phone and I'm like, oh, what are the businesses that I want to look at? Maybe I want to go pack lunch or something like that. A lot of those businesses, just the icons, I have no idea what kind of businesses those are.
That's interesting because maybe I didn't properly put it somewhere where people would actually use it. If you go to Discover Your Deals, the very top of the page is the category lists. And when you click on it, it filters. Yeah, the home page is more just the recent things. And hopefully I would have labeled it that. But it's just more of like our recent businesses that have joined up. So.
And then my next question is, obviously I own my own business as well. If I was considering wanting to join on board with you guys, I would want to know, for me, it would make more sense. I mean, your social media right now, I want to know what your strategy is for growing that, because obviously, if I'm going to pay, what was it, $400 for the year? Is that it? I want to know that you have a base of people that are going to need my services, and right now it's kind of a mess, so I don't even know what the demographics are of your users, since you were saying you don't really have a database of who those people are. So I would know if your users are my target market.
Sure. Well, once we got the website up, and like I said, we're just kind of throwing it together as we go. Like, oh, here's our idea, let's run with it, fine-tuning as we go. Once we got the website up and kind of the basic outline functionality down, our next move, I remember texting Chris, was like, okay, whew, that's over. We launched, okay, I want to focus on social media. And that was something we both really talked about. I'm not really that good at social media, and just ask my roommate, Tyler, he's always like, hey, by the way, you're invited to the party on Facebook. And I was like, oh, thanks, hi. So, but we do want to be able to grow our Facebook likes, grow our Instagram, and have people following it and participating in the things that we're doing there, so that when we forward, because to me, I think that's a huge value to that business that we're propositioning to be a part of us, is that, we've got all these followers, we're going to take your social media posts and kind of just forward them across our stuff too. That way, getting more and more exposure. And that, in a lot of ways, actually leads to kind of showing them how to use Facebook. So, yeah, go ahead.
And the specific strategies that we have in place are, we're going to start giving some gift certificates to our member businesses, from our member businesses, away to people who can share our statuses, and that just sort of classic Facebook expansion strategy. And on our cards, like I said, we're going to distribute over 20,000 over the next year in the community. And there's calls to action to like us on Facebook. So I think that'll be somewhat successful. So those are kind of a couple of strategies that we're working with right now, and we're certainly open to more input from folks who specialize in social media.
If I understand what you're saying correctly, yes, because we don't have a database, really our only client demographic, or our cardholder demographic information would be coming from social media at this point. We have, looking forward, we have thought about the app. We're kind of in talks with different people about a geosynced app. We also have toyed with the idea of a magnetic strip on the cards in the future, making it a little swipeable because data is so valuable these days, and that would only be able to further help us consult even those small businesses to say like, hey, your deal isn't working very well, but we've seen that in your industry, this deal works really well. Things like that we want to be able to track. That's kind of futuristic looking, but anyways. Does that answer your question?
Who are second last question back here?
Okay. I just want to point out something that I'm feeling or sensing, and that is, it seems like you've got two goals, right? One is for people to support Tulsa and to be a brand and to be a label and to be something, but you're also, the whole, everything we're talking about is all about dealing with discounts and sales and coupons, and to me those are those are two different things. And the whole coupons and sales and people who want to save money, what motivates them to save money, or what a business does, what a business is thinking, how am I going to get more customers, is one thing. And there's thousands of companies trying to either give people discounts or help business grow. But the other side of what motivates somebody to support their community is completely different. And I don't think that, I'm not worried about saving money when I want to support my community. It's a completely different mindset. And I think if you can explore that area where there's less competition, not about the saving money in the deals, which is okay, but there's a million people to compete with. But who wants to support Tulsa? Just the whole mindset, I think, from political to cause marketing to social to nonprofit to, there's just foundations and trust. There's just 1,000 opportunities to be a brand and to really deal with that core motivation that I think you've got more potential there. So.
Thanks for that comment. I mean, that's something that we are certainly wanting to explore further here in the future. Yeah, I really appreciate that feedback.
So the very last question is, what can we do for you?
All right, well, I'll hurry. So, if you believe the same that I do, that there are a lot of locally owned businesses here in town that deserve more, that really don't have strategies in place to drive traffic, to get noticed, to get quality exposure, then the best thing you can do to help us is to just let us know who those businesses are, help us reach out to them. We want the name Truly Tulsa to become ubiquitous in the community, be something that's trusted, affordable, yet provides results. So I would really covet your support and kind of coming alongside of us and just directing us to people who need a hand.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Both of these companies, check out their social media. They're both about connecting and building stronger communities, and that's what A Million Cups is all about. I'm really excited to be one of the new organizers, and I was a past presenter, and I think that this is a very important community to have in Tulsa where we can support each other. So come out next week. We're here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. And remember to support your local